Hi everyone. I have started taking top mate sessions recently, and so I decided to make a video about one of the interesting sessions I had. I'm walking on a hill and I decided to try something new, so here we go. So, yeah, Shivam is a 25-year-old software engineer who graduated during the pandemic, like most of us. His first job was at a consultancy where he worked for a year. Obviously, he decided to join a product based company an year in because he wanted to pursue web development and also pursue career growth. After doing that for about a year, a product company decided to put him on the Salesforce team. So within the Salesforce team, he was mostly responsible for managing their Salesforce CRM and also building integrations to other CRM tools. And yeah, Shivam reached out to me saying that, hey, I am not in the best possible position here right now with this company because I want to do web development and they've put me on Salesforce. What should I do next? So, what would you do in this scenario? I think that it doesn't really matter a lot what team you are on within a company as long as you're on the same career ladder and you can still see that growth. Well, Shivam could see that he could grow in that team as well because even though his profile was as a software engineer, he was working in a Salesforce CRM thing, but in the eventual run, it wouldn't really matter. Why? Because Salesforce is such a big tool. It doesn't really decrease your hireability in the future. In fact, I would say it increases it. If you think about it, all the companies out there are using Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics 360 or one of these CRM tools. And I think they are always hiring for engineers, aren't they? Because you don't see them close those positions off quite often. Well, taking this into account and taking it into account that the job market isn't really the best right now, and considering that he doesn't really have a lot of experience nor projects under his belt which we could show off while applying for positions outside, I suggested him to maybe stick with that position for a while, see how things are going, and then make a decision based on that. Next, he asked me a question which I think would be interesting to several of you out there, which was basically how does one apply to Fang companies and like what kind of leveling system they use and what's the interview like based on that. So I'll take the example of Meta right now because all of their information is public, in fact, published on their own career blog. And so I can talk about it. Yeah, so the levels that they generally hire for, they prefix it with an L and then the suffix is generally a number. So it starts with L1, it goes up to L7 and even beyond as well. The lower numbers are more relevant to us right now. So yeah, how do Meta hire? Meta generally hire apprentices or interns, which are generally L1 or L2. Once they graduate their program, which is basically go through them and then also show that they can succeed within Meta, they are generally put into an L3 level. And if they are not hiring for interns or apprenticeships, they generally hire at L4 level or beyond. Generally, these interviews are very technical. There's like one pre-screener round. I've interviewed with a bunch of Fang companies, so generally my experience has been like them hiring for one pre-screener, like they do one pre-screener round first, and then there's four proper hiring rounds, two tech rounds, one behavioral round, and one system design. I mean, if you've looked at anything online, you know how it is. After doing that, you generally get another HR call or a hiring manager round where you can sort of explain your motivations for joining the company and then have discussions about what the team is like and stuff like that. Hopefully, you get through till then. And yeah, that's generally how Fang is like. I wouldn't say it's any different if you're in interviewing for other companies out there. The next question that they asked me was how to set up one's resume. What's the best format for having a resume right now? I think there are a bunch of formats out there, but one of the most interesting tweets I had a look at recently was one where someone created a fake resume, but I mean, of course, it had a bunch of Fang companies in it, but it had some text which you wouldn't really want to share on your resume, and people didn't really care. So I think that companies or people don't really read in much detail when they are in the recruitment stage. I mean, of course, later on they will be looking at your resume in quite some detail during the interviews and ask you questions based off of that. But at least at the start, I don't think you need to worry about it a lot. So just focus on your advantages, your best points, and then write them down. Generally, like have a summary, list down all of the skills that you have, and then list down all of your professional experiences, your education, and your certifications and projects if you don't have much else to put on the rest of the resume. So yeah, those are some of my tips on how Fang companies work, whether you should change companies if you're working at Salesforce or one of these roles at companies which are not Salesforce. And how to set your resume up. Reach out to me on TopMate if you have any questions. Thank you.